I wasted my GI Bill for months taking random classes that did nothing for my future, and I finally said no more of that. I went to a $15,000 coding bootcamp. Only 48% of bootcamp grads land a job within 6 months, and 1 out of 4 people who attend the bootcamp ever get hired in tech at all. What's good, family? Military Then Code. Before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on all socials at Military Then Code, helping military veterans and career changers transition into tech the smart way. I went to a $15,000 coding bootcamp with zero real tech background, no degree, coming straight out of the military as a police officer. And according to the industry stats, guys, only 48% of bootcamp grads land a job within 6 months, and 1 out of 4 people who attend the bootcamp ever get hired in tech at all, guys. But I still bet everything on it because in 2020, the world was shut down. I was going through a divorce, but I had one shot to build a second career that actually could sustain my life. I wasted my GI Bill for months taking random classes that did nothing for my future, and I finally said no more of that. I'm going to restart my life. I'm going to join the tech industry. See, this is the truth nobody tells you about, and what I wish I knew before signing up, guys. Now, before the bootcamp, my life was all over the place. I worked as a correctional officer at a maximum security prison. Then I joined the military. I did 5 years as a military police officer and got out at 2020. I had zero direction, guys. Listen, statistically, nearly 60% of veterans struggle with choosing a second career after service, and I was one of them. I had only touched basic HTML and CSS from LinkedIn learning courses, right? Nothing serious, nothing that could pay the real bills, right? And support my family long term. And the pressure was real, guys. I needed something stable, something growing, something future-proof, right? Now, the moment I decided to enroll was the lowest point in my life, guys. Like I told you, I was going through a divorce. I was lost. I was confused. I was trying to figure out my next move. Tech was the only industry I saw that was still growing, even in the pandemic. In fact, tech grew 5.8% in 2020 while most industries collapsed. I refused to continue to waste my GI Bill any longer on classes that didn't move me closer to what I really wanted to do in a career. I decided to make the choice that I'm going all in on tech. Now, the crazy thing is, when I started researching bootcamp, almost all of them promised the same thing. I wanted a curriculum that actually matched the job market, right? At the time, I lived in Washington State, and React and Node.js were huge, right? So I chose General Assembly for 3 reasons, simply. Lowest barrier to entry, outcomes program that seemed solid, and I could use my GI Bill and attend virtually. That last part saved me. I didn't have to pay $15,000 out of pocket, and I still received BAH every month. But here's the truth, right? Bootcamps today aren't worth the price. Not in 2025, guys. Not with the job market shifting. Today, I'd use the curriculum as a blueprint and self-study same skills for free or for cheaper, right? Only 3 things you must look into if you want to decide on a bootcamp is the curriculum, right? It must be employer aligned, right? React, Next, Node.js, right? Not dated stuff or not the trendy stuff, right? Now the price, it must be affordable, guys, because the average bootcamp costs $14,000 and most grads don't even make that back immediately. Right? And the last piece needs to be the job placement or outcomes team. If they can't get you interviews, your chances drop drastically of transitioning into the industry. Bootcamp curriculum looks clean on paper, right? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node, Django, REST APIs, MongoDB, Postgres, daily labs, pair programming, you name it, right? The reality is, guys, I wanted to quit every single day. I stayed up until midnight almost every night because the pace was insane, guys. I was just trying to keep up, right? Bootcamps move so fast, right? They move 10 times faster than traditional schools, guys. And statistically, only 1 in 3 students say they kept up with the pace. Most people in my cohort never landed jobs, right? Even till this day, guys, and it's been 5 years at the time of this recording. Things only really started clicking for me while I was in boot camp because about 2 weeks before graduation, I met my mentor coding phase. He actually taught me the right skills in the right order, and more importantly, how to apply them in a way that employers actually cared about, guys. Right? If you're really thinking about it, the curriculum doesn't matter, guys. Your self-study outside of class does, and how you can practically apply the skill set, guys. So here's the truth about bootcamp life: 9-to-5 coding, labs, breakout rooms, daily assignments, weekend projects, constant pressure, mental exhaustion, guys. All of those things encompass the bootcamp life, right? I can think back to a time where I think it was second to last project, right? But it was a group project, right? And man, the group project almost broke me, right? Great people, but we were all beginners, right? Nobody nobody understood the code fully. So I end up carrying the majority of the workload as the project leader. Now we delivered, but it almost didn't happen. Now, this is what boot camps don't prepare you for, right? The pressure, the teamwork, the speed, the burnout. It seemed like it was never ending, guys, right? I feel like I'm never going to be over, but things were moving so fast, if that makes sense, right? Now, the next thing, part about boot camp, guys, was the outcomes team. With outcomes, it's supposed to be the most important part of a boot camp, right? The resume prep, the LinkedIn optimization, the mock interviews, recruiter connections, alumni job boards, Slack channels, etc., right? All the things they say. Here's the problem. Only 18% of boot camps have outcomes teams who understand non-traditional backgrounds. I can remember my outcomes team didn't understand how to translate military experience into tech verbiage at all, guys. That was huge. Not just military experience, but experience from unique career paths in all different walks of life, right? In my boot camp, I met people who were dentists, real estate investors, actors, and none of them got the support that they needed to communicate their experience in a way that employers would understand that they had the skills, right? So I had to build real projects that made my skills undeniable. What was my biggest project? It was called Employ the Vets, guys. And now that project opened more doors than any taught in boot camp, guys. And it's, simply just a job board. The thing about boot camp projects, guys, is they aren't employer ready, right? In my boot camp, I remember we built things like the tic-tac-toe game and a basic, super basic e-commerce website. But that was the final project and we got to choose, right? And of course, I'm going to choose e-commerce because that was something that I was passionate about and already had experience in. Other people were choosing, just BS, Simon Says, and things like that, right? Not going to help you at all. Now, these are not the projects that's going to get you hired, guys. They don't show you the decision making, your problem solving, or any value to a business, right? And that's the biggest thing. Once I built a real platform, once I built Employ the Vets, guys, I started getting more callbacks, more interviews, and conversations became easier because employers finally saw the real world impact of my projects, guys. This is so important, right? The project that got me hired was not one of those from the boot camp. Like I told you, I had to build it and actually think about something that was going to solve a problem for employers, guys. So you guys have to be thinking about this as well. What's the biggest mistake that I made, right? What can you learn from this? Now, number one is thinking the bootcamp curriculum was enough, right? Second was not asking enough questions. Third was comparing myself to others, right? Now, this is a huge piece because I remember we had one guy in there who seemed like the genius, right? He was answering all the questions. He was the teacher's aide, all those things, right? Come to find out when it was time for graduation, this guy actually had a computer science degree. And the only reason that he was in the boot camp was because during his computer science degree, they were learning C#. They weren't hiring for C# in his market. So he went to a boot camp so he can learn React and Node.js. So that's crazy, guys, right? So I'm sitting here thinking I don't know enough, I can't do enough. But this motherfucker got a computer science degree, and he's already 10 times, 20 times the steps ahead of us. Number 4, not networking early, right? And lastly, not building employer line project, guys. Those are the things that I really wish I would have did better, right? Those are some of the biggest mistakes that I made. It's crazy because I realized tech isn't about being smart. It's about being consistent and solving real problems, right? Through technology, guys, right? Now, I asked myself, was it worth it? For me, honestly, in 2020, it was because my life demanded a fast pivot and the GI Bill covered everything, right? But the curriculum didn't change my life. The environment did, the accountability did, the self-study did, the mentorship did, right? Doing the correct things all the time did. I think how this is relevant in 2025, it's not, right? Boot camps are no longer worth the price in 2025, right, guys. Do not do it, guys. I don't recommend you attend a boot camp, not for 10, 20,000, not with the market being this competitive, not when you can self-study with a structured curriculum, guys, for a fraction of the cost, right? That's the biggest thing. You cannot beat that at all. If I was getting out, here's exactly what I would do step by step, right? So number 1, I would leverage my transferable skills, right? Leadership, decision-making under pressure, right? team communication and collaboration, problem solving. Next, I would build real world business projects, right? An e-commerce site, an applicant tracking tool, right? All things, that could actually benefit a company and an employer or hiring manager, recruiter, whoever. They can understand these projects, right? And it makes it a lot easier to sell your skills. So these are the exact reasons why I built Military Then Code's Freedom Path, guys, because the bootcamp don't teach you how to build business solutions, but I definitely can. If you guys want my exact roadmap to break into tech without wasting money and without guessing, go ahead and join Military Then Code Academy, guys. We built the program I wish existed when I was rebuilding my life in 2020 during the pandemic. Go ahead, click the link, book your one-on-one free strategy call, guys, and I'll see you guys on the call.